William Whalen here for GetMoreSports.com, and we are talking about potential number one seeds for the NCAA tournament, and one of the most controversial teams every year that they run off a good record, every year that they run off and win the conference, every single year we are talking about the Gonzaga Bulldogs. Mark Few has built a powerhouse program up there in Spokane, and what a lot of people are wondering is, can this team get another number one seed? Just a couple years ago when they did, they are knocked out in the second round. The question is, can they do it again this year? Will the committee give them a chance? And what will they do with a potential number one seed? But I am here to talk about, can they get it at all? Now this is a top 5 RPI team, a top 5 KenPom team for much of the year. Now they've dropped back into number 8. Much of the projected RPI shows that they're projected to finish either 7 or 8. Now, I was just talking about Arizona earlier today. What Arizona has is they're already at 7 with a chance to significantly move up. Gonzaga doesn't really have that shot. Gonzaga does not have the same strength of schedule that anybody else has in the RPI top 10. So, what are their chances? This is all going to come down to how the committee sees them. Because obviously, the committee uses the RPI and KenPom and all this as a guide. It is not strict. They do not seed based off of RPI rank. A lot of it also is eye test and bias. These guys have seen this team. They've obviously seen the talented that has been assembled at Gonzaga. You have guys like Wesley Saunders. You have obviously Kyle Wiltshire, one of the best players in America right now, and certainly a candidate to be an All-American. Kevin Pangos. This team has the talent. And so when you watch them, you have to know that. You have to see the athleticism. You have to see the skill. And you have to buy them as a Power 5, big-time, high-major conference team. However, with that same bias comes the unavoidable situation where you remember them bowing out. You remember the lack of deep runs that they've had recently in the NCAA tournament, and can you reward that? Do you reward a team for that? And that's going to be the question. It's all about how the committee views them. It is one of the more, I said it earlier this year, how they evaluate Gonzaga will be one of the more fascinating seedings that we've had in recent memory. Because this team has it all. They've got one loss on the year. And guess where it was? It was in Tucson, Arizona. And guess what the score was? It was 66-63 in overtime. They lost in overtime in Tucson. That's a huge... Duke could do that, and that would be a really good loss for Duke. It would help prop them up, and it would have people talking about how legitimate Duke was. Yet since it's Gonzaga, a lot of people forget about that. And that's not fair to Mark Few. It's not fair to his players. It's not fair to the performance that they put forth that day. However, again, it all comes down to this. Gonzaga plays in a mid-major conference. They got one other really good team in that conference year to year. You've got the BYUs, you've got the St. Mary's. But they don't have the strength of schedule in conference to prop them up. That's going to be the question. Do you seed them over Arizona? Do you seed them over Wisconsin? I mean, do you seed them over Villanova? If you do, it's not like you have to justify it in tournament. Obviously, it's all a crapshoot once the brackets are made anyways. But it's going to be fascinating. I think Gonzaga should be a number one seed. I think they are one of the top 4 teams in the country. But certainly how the committee balances their RPI numbers based on what we see on the court is going to be fascinating and probably tell us a lot about the way the rest of the field is going to be seeded as well.